Welcome to my channel. I'm Dashe Sonia Kemi, and this is a restart. I have done this a few times, hence restart. And every time that I start, I have a reason or two or more to stop, then start again, then stop, then start again. The second time it happened, I'm like, oh, maybe I don't need this anymore. Maybe media is not for me. That's why I keep having to stop and start and stop and start. But I'm starting again. And this time, I don't know where to lead. But I'm realizing that I was asking the wrong questions or I was looking at it in the wrong way. As opposed to thinking media is not for me, I should ask myself, why am I stopping at this moment? Is there something that I need to learn? Is this a retreat for me to go and sit with God? Or is there something that probably my being online would expose me to that I don't need to be exposed to at that moment? The ways of God are foolishness to man. And it's taking me a while to get to that understanding. And even getting to that understanding, there are times that I'm not sure exactly what it is. But I do know that if it is God that is leading you to do a thing or to stop a thing, there is a purpose to it. There is a reason for it in the wisdom of God. And sometimes the teaching for that period is to just take a break, to pause. I was in church, it was a Tuesday, and I heard leave social media. Then I was a social media manager. So I had accounts that I was managing apart from my own accounts. And I remember that we had a Bible study, I think a week or two later. And I sat at the Bible study. Oh, by that time, family, friends, why are you no longer on social media? Oh, we loved your content. We're not seeing you anymore. I had a friend who was really concerned about me, call me and tell me, don't get used to the break because it's that tiny hole where you fall into, and sometimes coming back out is difficult. And I had all of that apart from my own thinking as to, it just looked like, I was building momentum. I was getting to that point. Like, why? So I was listening to a lot of people who had my best interest at heart. And I was also listening to my own heart. Then a couple of weeks later, we're at Bible study, right? And everybody was sharing things that they have learned in the past month or so, I think. And it came to my point, or it came to my turn. And I said, well, social media is how I stay relevant. My work is on social media. I'm a writer. I write on social media. I'm a content creator. That's on social media. I manage accounts. I'm a social media manager. That's on social media. I MC at weddings and other events. I put it on social media so that I can get more clients. There's a lot of my life that is on media. And so hearing that I should take a pause on social media, I was like, but because it's God, I'm going to do it. And that was my positioning, right? But when I was talking, I realized that my head was quiet. So before then, there was a lot that I was doing. And so my head was noisy. And so as I was giving the sort of, this is what has been happening to me, I realized how that I was quiet enough to hear more. And I'm not saying that that's the only benefit, but even that is a great benefit, that you can hear direction more, that you have time to breathe and to not be caught up in a rat race that looks like, because there's no end. There's no end. The more you do it, the more you do it. There's a proverb that says that the reward for hard work is more work. So except I get to the point where I am able to regulate myself internally, that I'm doing all of those things, and I'm still able to listen and move by the Spirit, I may enter into trouble. By the time I came back with a, Lord, what would you have me do? How do you want me to go about this? Would you rather I did this than this? So there was a leaning more on God to do it, and because of the way content is saturated, there's a lot of there's a pastor that says normalize nonsense. Because there's a lot of normalized nonsense out there, it's hard for people, for me, I'm speaking for myself, it was hard for me to still be a quote unquote Christian and still navigate that field, especially if you're not going to be talking about Christianity in your preaching. What is the place of a content creator who is navigating spaces that are not necessarily Christian, or navigating places where craziness is accepted and promoted? There's a tendency, there's a very present temptation to want to do what other people are doing for the sake of numbers, even for the sake of getting viral, for the sake of wanting to go the extra mile. And it's very, very possible that that journey may take you to an end that you do not wish. That journey may take you to compromise. That journey may take you to living a life of hypocrisy, because you still want to serve God, but you still want to serve Mammon. There's a psalm. The psalmist was crying out to God, and he was saying, I look at the people around me and they're prospering. Looks like the people who don't care about you, the people who don't believe in you, they're prospering. But then he says he almost slipped, that he took his eyes off God and he was looking at the people around him and he was looking at their success, and it almost got him. You see, it's very, very, very easy, and it is a present temptation, especially for Christians, especially now, that you take your eyes off God and you look at the prospering of others, especially because you have been promised, that you the benefits that you have in God are so enormous. Imagine a God that boasts and says that the thing that you can think of, the thing that you can request for, he can do even much more. That means that there is nothing that you can think about, there's nothing that you can imagine that God cannot do and do even more. So your highest imagination, your best thoughts, he can do even much more. And then you look around and people are prospering. People that don't even believe in God, people that don't accept him, don't care about him, but it looks like they're prospering. And sometimes that's the argument that you get when people will tell you that, oh, so why are these nations prospering? And you people in Africa, you people in Nigeria, you're always kabashing and you're not getting it. He said he almost slipped. Then he drew his heart. He gathered himself and praised God. Because the truth is, it does not matter what else is happening around you. What matters is keeping your eyes on God and doing that which he sent you to do. Imagine what the Bible says about John the Baptist. In God's eye, he was successful. But in the realm of man, he was in the wilderness, eating locust and honey and walking barefoot with deer skin around him for clothing. That doesn't sound like a successful man. In the eyes of men, that doesn't look like anybody that is near success. Don't look around. Don't look around. Look to Jesus. He is the one that you should focus on.